Rise up, Jason! Your work isn't finished!
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Let's dance, asshole!
So growing up as a kid, I never had the opportunity to watch a lot of these movies when they first came out, but thankfully, my parents were able to show me a lot of these movies that came out during the 1980s, and I had the opportunity to watch them. And when it comes to Beetlejuice, this was a movie I definitely enjoyed a lot growing up, and I just watched the sequel not that long ago when it first came out, and I actually really enjoyed that one, and we will talk about that in a later video. But I want to talk about the classic Beetlejuice movie. I want to talk about the one that came out in 1988, because there's a lot of different things I do want to talk about when it comes to this movie, and it is the Halloween season, so it's only right for me to make a video talking about it. So before I get into this, if you guys have anything you want to say when it comes to Beetlejuice, like is there any favorite moments, any favorite characters, or just anything in general that you guys want to share with me when it comes to Beetlejuice, as always, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. So one of the most iconic elements of Beetlejuice is its eccentric, dark humor, which blends the macabre with comedy in a way that feels effortless. Because this isn't your typical horror comedy, Beetlejuice leans into absurdity, making death in the afterlife a playground of gags and visual puns. For instance, the waiting room scenes that you see within the movie itself is filled with people who've met bizarre fates, managed to evoke both laughter and curiosity about what happens after death. And the casualness in what the film handles its morbid subject matter makes it distinct from other films exploring death. And what really stood out to me was how Beetlejuice mocks bureaucratic systems in the afterlife, from the Maitlands being forced to deal with paperwork to the comically slow and inefficient caseworker Juno. It reflects our frustrations with real-world red tape, yet the system is presented in such a offbeat way that you can't help but laugh. And this kind of dark satire isn't easily replicated and speaks to Tim Burton's unique vision. This irreverent approach to mortality was refreshing for me, particularly compared to more serious explorations of the subject in film. It creates a balance between spooky and humorous elements, ensuring Beetlejuice remains a comedy first, but one that never shies away from using death as its playground. And this was key to why I found the film so entertaining, because it doesn't take itself too seriously. And Tim Burton's directorial signature is on full display in Beetlejuice, and it's one of the key aspects that drew me into the film. The whimsical yet eerie aesthetic, with its gothic elements and playful use of color, sets the tone for the entire movie. The sets, like the Maitland's hauntingly remodeled house, have a surreal, cartoonish vibe that perfectly matches the film's blend of comedy and horror. And the visual contrast between the normal world and the twisted afterlife showcases Burton's knack for world building. And I especially love how Burton uses stop motion effects and practical designs to bring this world to life. The sandworms are a great example of this. They look otherworldly and bizarre, adding to the sense that the afterlife is full of surprises. And these kind of effects might not be polished by today's CGI standards, but they gave the film a tactical, handcrafted feel that's full of personality, and it makes Beetlejuice feel timeless rather than dated. And for me, Beetlejuice is a great reminder of why practical effects, when done right, can be more effective than computer-generated visuals. The world Burton creates feels very real in its weirdness, like a place you could almost visit if you even dared. And the way that this visual style immerses you in the oddity of the afterlife is one of the reasons Beetlejuice still stands out. And Michael Keaton's portrayal of Beetlejuice is one of the film's most memorable elements, and it's easy to see why, because Keaton brings an unmatched chaotic energy to the role, turning what could have been a disturbing or sinister character into a oddly likable anti-hero. The way that he balances creepiness with humor gives Beetlejuice a unique charm despite his morally questionable actions, and his unpredictable, anarchic behavior is a perfect fit for the world Tim Burton crafted. And what struck me was how Keaton, with limited screen time, dominates every scene he's in. Whether he's pulling off over-the-top gags or delivering quick, ranchy one-liners, there's never a dull moment when Beetlejuice is on screen. His irreverence makes him fascinating to watch, and you're never sure what he'll do next. The performance is so wild and unpredictable that it feels like Keaton was allowed to go off script and fully embrace the madness of the character. And for me, Keaton's Beetlejuice is what elevates the film from just a quirky supernatural comedy to something truly iconic. His eccentric performance makes him a character that sticks with you long after the movie ends. It's a performance that's impossible to imagine anyone else pulling off with the same level of chaotic magnetism that Keaton possesses. And what makes Beetlejuice so interesting is its take on the afterlife and how it reflects our anxieties and uncertainties about death. Rather than offering a peaceful or religious view of the afterlife, Burton's vision is bureaucratic and often absurd. The Maitlands, who are new to the world of the dead, must navigate this confusing system, highlighting the film's theme of adjusting to a new identity after death. They struggle to accept their new roles as ghosts and, by extension, grapple with the loss of their previous lives. One of the most thought-provoking aspects of the film is how it explores the idea of identity beyond death, and the Maitlands' attempts to scare the Dietz family out of their home are more than about asserting control over their space and who they are than just driving people away. And Lydia's desire to connect with the dead adds another layer, as she feels more in touch with the afterlife than her own family, signifying her search for belonging and identity in a world that doesn't understand her. And this theme of identity, whether it's the Maitlands accepting they're no longer alive, or Lydia herself finding her place between the living and the dead, was something I found very compelling. It's a reminder that even in death, we are still searching for meaning, connection, and a sense of self. And over the years, Beetlejuice has grown from just being another quirky 80s film to a full-fledged cult classic. I think a lot of this has to do with how the movie appeals to such a wide range of people. Its combination of dark humor, strange visuals, and memorable characters make it accessible while still maintaining an edge. Tim Burton's offbeat direction and Michael Keaton's unforgettable performance have solidified the film as something truly unique in cinema history. What's interesting to me is how Beetlejuice has transcended its original release to become a cultural touchstone, spawning everything from a successful Broadway adaptation to, of course, the sequel that we got this year. And fans continue to be drawn to its weirdness, and the character of Beetlejuice himself has become truly iconic in a way few movie characters do. The continued popularity shows how a movie can live on in different forms, much like the film's own playful approach to the afterlife. And for me, revisiting Beetlejuice is always a reminder of why it stands the test of time. It's not just a product of its era, it's something that continues to resonate with audiences because it dares to be different. Its cult status isn't about nostalgia, it's about the film's enduring ability to make us laugh while questioning the boundaries between life and death. Beetlejuice is one of those rare films that manages to combine horror, humor, and heart in a way that feels completely fresh. Even decades later, its quirky characters, unforgettable performances, and unique vision of the afterlife make it a standout in Tim Burton's filmography. Watching it today, I'm reminded of why this movie continues to hold a special place in pop culture. It's a film that isn't afraid to be weird, and that's what makes it so timeless. Whether you're drawn to its dark comedy or its offbeat aesthetic, Beetlejuice is a film that leaves a lasting impression, just like the ghost with the most himself. So other than that, that is all I have to say about Beetlejuice in this video. I'm just happy that I had the opportunity to talk about Beetlejuice today because ever since I started doing a lot of these videos when it comes to a lot of these Halloween movies that I want to talk about in this season, Beetlejuice was definitely the movie on top of my list that I eventually wanted to talk about on this channel. So if you guys have anything you want to say yourself about Beetlejuice, just like how I did in this video, if you guys want to share any thoughts of your own when it comes to anything you want to say about it, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm a big Beetlejuice fan and it would be really cool to meet other Beetlejuice fans out there as well. And if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on my social media on seeing what I do outside of YouTube, be sure to check out my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Facebook. All of that is located in the description below. Also, be sure to click on that bell down below so you guys are notified whenever I drop a video on the channel. But other than that, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.